Welcome back to It's All About Health. I'm Doug Miles, sitting in for Rochelle Herman tonight. My guest is Don Blair, and we've just got started. I think it was about 10 minutes to say hello, Don. I guess that's just the curse of what we do in radio. We just talk a lot, but we started talking about Don's new book, Splashdown, NASA, and the Navy, and I know you had some great inscriptions in here of people that actually were on the moon, right? You have a here.
Well, Dick Gordon autographed it right away. He was a speaker when the book came out 2 years ago. We were on the Hornet, which is the ship you see on the cover of our book. And Dick Gordon, who orbited the Earth for Apollo 12, was there as a speaker. And, of course, I had to have him sign my book. And Alan Bean was there. Alan was the third man to walk on the moon, and he autographed the book for me. And he was selling books like they were going out of style. But we sold 300 copies out there during our 10-day stay and did a lot of speaking. But one thing I wanted to bring to your attention, if you can shoot over to the picture behind me, this is a commemorative poster that was given to not very many of us on the 25th anniversary of Apollo 11. There was a special award ceremony to journalists like Jay Barbary and Walter Cronkite at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in New York. And I was asked to MC it, and you can't get a greater honor than that. When they asked me, I said, "Are you kidding? When does the plane leave?" You know? And my wife and I went up and sat at the same table with Eugene Cernan, the last man to walk on the moon, and Alan Shepard, the first American in space. One's on one side of me, one's on the other. The honors don't get much higher than that. This painting was done by Alan Bean. That's one of the reasons I brought it up with me tonight.
Great artist.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? And that's, of course, JFK that said, you know, a man on the moon before the end of this decade and bring him back alive and all that kind of stuff. But it's a beautiful poster, and I've offered it as auction material for a black tie silent auction on behalf of the Loveland Center in Venice, for which I've done a lot of radio and TV, and for which you are still running radio spots for us on WIBQ, giving the phone number on how people can call up, arrange a tour of the Loveland Center on Venice Avenue in Venice, and come down and see this wonderful, wonderful facility. But I'm kind of getting off the track, Doug, but as long as we're talking Loveland, let me just tell you, I remember when Steve Jervey, the weatherman from Channel 8, came down to Snook Haven in Venice a couple of years ago and did weather reports every night during the evening news on Channel 8. He got so hooked on Snook Haven, he couldn't say enough about it. It's just a funky, unique place right on the Myakka River. You know, just draft beer and banjo music. There's like 30 banjo artists every Thursday at lunchtime. Well, on October 21st, coming up very soon, Saturday from 4 to 9 p.m., a German beer fest. Knockwurst, German beer, German music, I suppose, maybe an Oompa band. I'm pretty sure that's about what it's got to be. From 4 to 9 p.m., most of the money is going to go to the Loveland Center. And that's all I had to hear. I don't need any excuse to go to Snook Haven and drink beer.
No.
But if the
sun comes up and you have a beer,
if the proceeds of my beer go largely to the Loveland Center, this is a school for the developmentally disabled, and they're wonderful, wonderful people. Huh?
Wonderful organization.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So we were talking before about our friend Jack Perkins, who did a nice piece.
Yes, he did. Jack has been down there. You know, a lot of people know about it, but I personally think a lot more people should know about it. If you tour the school and see these people, their motto is to develop their lives to the fullest. And one of the former chairmen of the board made a comment to me when we did a video show for them a few years ago now. He said, I said, what does Loveland Center mean to you? This was Ben Weaver. Yeah, I think Ben Weaver, yeah. And he said, Don, he said, if it wasn't for the Loveland Centers of this world, he said, these people would be sitting alone in dark rooms. And I have never, ever forgotten that. And boy, if you don't need any more than that to keep you going, working on their behalf. But October 21, Snook Haven, off River Road in Venice. It's a great, great place for picnic, the river, the music, and a very, very good cause. So
people can go on the website, get information on tickets, that kind of thing?
Well, you don't need tickets. You don't need tickets.
Isn't there a fundraiser you're talking about?
Yes, it's a fundraiser, but when you buy a hamburger or a pitcher of beer, X% of that, what you spend, is going to Loveland Center.
Right.
It's not buying tickets to get in. And if they're fortunate enough, and I hope they will be, in having the cars backed all the way up that dirt road going into Snookhaven, as they often do, like on a weekend, there'll be cars parked out along River Road. Well, they'll have shuttle transportation. I don't know whether it's golf carts or a little bus or something, but they'll get you back and forth so you don't have to walk half a mile down a dirt road.
Right.
But please do. Please do. It's a great thing.
And Don, I know, where can the folks get the book? I know you're going to be at the book fair coming up.
We're going to be
meet you in person.
Yeah, the Sarasota Reading Festival is coming up the first Saturday in November. What did I say?
November 4th, I believe.
November 4th. Thank you. I'm getting
Don will be in his
doors all over the place here. But I will be in the Reading Festival. Yeah. I talked my way in. I kept on calling until finally she couldn't say no anymore. So she said, yeah, we'll let you come in. But we'll get a chance. And I'll tell you who else is going to be there. You've invited me to co-interview some excellent people on the air, including Chris Lemon. That was delightful.
That was fun.
Jack Lemon's son. And I've since gotten him to sign his book because it turns out he lives 2 miles from our daughter in Connecticut. I mean,
right.
Small little world we got going here. And then we interviewed Michael Grunwald. And here is Michael's book. Take a shot at that. This is called The Swamp. And it doesn't, the Everglades, Florida, and the politics of paradise. Michael Grunwald is a staffer at the Washington Post. He has won major awards. He should get the Pulitzer for that darn thing. If you never knew about the political football that the Everglades have been since the middle 1800s, maybe even earlier than that. Who was that guy, Flagler, that built all the hotel buildings down there and built the railroad, which was wiped out about 2 years later by a hurricane? I mean, all this up and down gives pretty good marks to Jeb Bush for giving a lot of weight to this $800 million, let's restore the Everglades to the way nature made it, because it's been crisscrossed and torn up with man-made canals, which have just totally screwed up the ecology, something fierce. Various species rose, and some thrived, some disappeared completely. Hasn't helped the panther, and so on. But Michael Grunwald will be at that festival on November 4th. And somebody else, if you're a history nut like I am, particularly the Civil War, make a note. Jeff Shara will be at the Reading Festival. And I have bought everything the man has ever written since he took over from his late father, Michael Shara, who was the author of The Killer Angels, which is what the movie Gettysburg was based on. And he won the Pulitzer for The Killer Angels. Michael Shara died much too young. When he died, his son Jeff was selling jewelry in a store in Tampa. And most of the jewelry they featured was from the Atoka, that sunken ship that Mel Fisher brought up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold on, and they're making little lockets from it and so forth. That's what Jeff Shara was doing when the Ted Turner organization came to him and said, look, Jeff, your father was going to write a trilogy when he died. Do you think you could finish it? And the first thing he did was a book called Gods and Generals, which is still one of the finest books I've ever read. It made a terrible movie. Wasn't his fault. The movie was drawn out and boring. The book is fabulous.
Good book.
And he has written books on the Mexican Revolution.
We got to take a break, Don.
And World War II. And he's got a World and II. And Jeff Shara will be there. Don't miss him. I certainly won't.
Don Blair, our guest on the program tonight. We'll take a break. Be right back after these messages. Don't go away.